In terms of where transformations are successful, how much is dependent upon having the right strategy? So one is capability, the other is the direction, where to play, how to win. So if you get that bit right, what's the impact of a successful transformation in that sense?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, a good strategy is critical. You need to have the strategy. Where I think strategy falls short or maybe gets too big is when we don't leave it at the strategy and then allow a healthy dialogue for how is that interpreted on down the organization and share that back up. If the strategy, I worked with a company, it was a newsprint company out of Canada. It doesn't exist as such anymore. Now it's a different name. But at the time, this company, Abitibi Consolidated, had a goal to be the world's finest manufacturer and marketer of papers for communication. So it was a real clear strategy and goal. And they knew what kind of finest meant, because finest meant how their culture worked and how they operated. But what that looked like in the sales and the manufacturing and the inside service and whatever it may be, all was subject to interpretation. And then all of it filtered back up, and we had an ongoing, very open dialogue, which made it a very successful company as it transformed. Other companies will have a great strategy, but they'll say, now here's the strategy. Let us all tell you what to do, and you just follow the steps. Don't worry about the strategy. Worry about the to-dos that we've interpreted come from that strategy, not trusting the people to engage in that conversation, not listening to what they say. And that's where I think execution and strategy get disconnected. I think execution has to be created closer to the source of what's being executed and not articulated from the level of the strategy, if that makes sense. But strategy is absolutely critical. If you don't have one, you don't know where you're going. So a capability like pathfinding over path following, it's like, well, I do pathfinding, but I have no idea where we're going. So how can I find a path to get there?
Yeah, no, it's interesting. Well, I suppose to some extent it depends on engagement. People need to understand the strategy and the purpose and their part in it, and therefore engage so you get the discretionary effort from people the whole time. And your strategy may well very change depending upon the feedback you're getting from people within the organization. Do you see that?
Yeah, a couple of things that come to mind there. One is, first of all, talk about this in a talk I do. I call it the 5 questions of transformation, but is that we forget that when we go through a process to come up with a strategy, a direction, something we're going to do, there's a lot of different possibilities and options, and we work them through, and we go through all sorts of processes, maybe with some consulting firm, to figure that out. But then when we get to the point where we have it, we're like, okay, we're set. And then we give it to everybody. Here it is, it's done. Accept that as the way to go. And they're never given the same chance we had to question, to wonder, to doubt, to think about other things. But somehow we believe that they're going to instantly say, oh, thank you for the strategy on high. I immediately bow down at its feet. And people don't, because the strategy that's been in place before has probably worked well enough, because they're all still there and they're all still employed and they're all still making money and they're all still getting along just fine and getting their bonus. Whoa, what about this new thing? I need to think it through. So you really need to give people time to disbelieve that strategy.